Well, it's time to break down the CBE Trek Pro sight. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. Time to review this CBE Trek sight, and this specific sight that I have mounted here is on the Picatinny bracket. This was a pro sight which had the carbon dovetail. Took that off. Bo and I worked a quick install on this sight in the shop where we converted it over to the Picatinny bracket, mounted it on my bow, second, third axis adjusted it, and got it dialed in and ready. And literally it was probably less than 10 minutes to do everything. And from a setup standpoint, I'll start with that. This sight, the ease of adjustability from your second axis to your third axis, super simple to do. One of the easier sights to set up on a bow that I've had in recent memory. Some of the sights you got to really work in there with the smaller size angle screw to make an adjustment. Some of the settings, some of the attachment points are really fine small screws, which I'm not a huge fan of. This sight is, on initial review, initial feeling, thoughts, if you will, really well designed and put together. Like I already mentioned, second, third axis is really easy to set up. You got micro on your windage on here. This 3-spoke system on your driver, I'm used to having the lock on the inside, and as I'm in the field, my finger goes right over the top of the sight. I loosen that lever, and then I can adjust. And then once I get it where I want, and I'm looking at the sight, finger goes back over the top, and I lock on that lever to lock the sight back in place. So the adjustability, where everything fits for me, it's super quick on adjusting this sight. As far as adjustments go and ability to adjust things, this sight actually gives you the ability to go from a single pin like this. They also offer a 3 and a 5 pin. So if you're running that 3-pin or 5-pin sight and you want to have multiple indicators, you can take the indicator off here. They have three different style of indicators. One that kind of sweeps up and gets your top indicator marked and sweeps down and your bottom indicator mark, or this one that sits right in the middle. So this is the one I'm running on my sight here for the single pin. Now, the other thing, moving into the adjustments again, this indicator pin actually does not go over the top of the sight tape and run up and down. As I mounted it on there, it actually runs right along the side of the sight tape, the metal sight tape, and it's a really nice indicator. If I had one minor gripe, I still may do it. I still may take and file that down a little bit to get it to more of a point. But it's a really nice system. These metal sight tapes are great in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of them. The other thing that CBE really took into consideration is based off of your trajectory, your gap, if you will. This tape actually goes all the way down to 130 yards with this specific sight setting. I can't get 130 yards with a single pin sight because my housing gets too close to my arrow. So I won't be able to maximize the tape. But if somebody has a longer draw, flatter trajectory, maybe their peep sight is up higher and their whole setting is up higher, you might be able to get a lot further distance out of a standard metal sight tape without any additional having to mark or engrave anything on there. So this sight is very well thought out and well designed. Other features on here, you've got this cover that you can slide over to kind of dim the pin brightness depending on if you're in the middle of the day or if it's bright or not, right? So that feature is there. Other than that, just aesthetically, this sight it's a very nice looking sight. There's some sights that are big and clunky and just kind of, odd looking, if you will. This one's not that. This one's well thought out, and from the functionality side of things, they did a really good job of designing this sight and making things where the adjustment and the bolts attach. It's just well thought out. Now, all those things are great, but the number one thing for Western bow hunters, in my opinion, is durability. And You got a bladed pin system here on this single pin, and if somebody decides to hunt with a single pin, then yeah, I would not be afraid to use this sight specifically in a Western style hunt if you're a single pin type of guy. I may look at a 3 or 5 pin if I decide to hunt with this sight this fall. Just that's what I prefer. But durability wise, there's any sight that has a driver is going to have the smallest amount of play. If you take a hold of your sight and you really crank on it back and forth, you got a little bit of flex in there, but that's just based off of the design for things to be able to move. Now, when you start to kind of grab a hold of your sight and move it around, if things feel loose or things feel weak, you're going to feel it right away. This does not have that feeling to me. This sight is in my opinion, definitely a thumbs up for a Western style hunting bow sight, and I'm going to consider that. Like I said, coming up, I've got turkey season, so I'll probably run it on the single pin for turkey season and start to take it in the field and really get a good comfort level with if this sight is the one that I'm going to be running this fall. But nonetheless, well thought out, well built, good looking sight from CBE, and I'm a fan. I mean, the Picatinny attachment, I like it. This sight does give you some other features in the box where you can change out the rings. You don't have to order different color rings. You've got multiple sight tapes. They're printed on front and back, or engraved in front and back, so you have 2 tapes in one, if you will. And like I said, it's just simple in many respects, but very nice, very nicely adjustable in others. So can't say enough about this new CBE sight. This is a Trek. They also have other sights in their lineup, but which I have not played with yet. This is the only one I've played with of the newer sights here that they put out in the last few years. But I'm a fan, and I think they did a great job with this. So if you're a Western bow hunter and you're considering a slider style sight, don't sleep on the CBE sights. They're doing a really good job. And anyway, like I said, I'll probably give some more feedback and videos down the line as I have this on my bow for longer. But yeah, I'm actually liking this one a touch more than the Landslide so far, and I think it really just has to do with the ease of adjustment. And in addition to that, the tension on this slide on the driver is stiff enough to where you have to, it's not going to move on its own, but it's still smooth enough to where it just moves really smoothly as you glide it up and down that block there. So anyway, liking the sight. Let me know what your thoughts are if you're shooting a CBE sight or if you're considering trying one. I encourage you to check out the Trek. It's checking all the boxes for me right now. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you will. If you're enjoying the content, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon. This show is brought to you by Maven Optics. Head over to mavenbuilt.com, check out their full selection of gear and optics, and when you're getting ready to check out, make sure you enter the promo code ALPHAGIFT in full caps. Once again, that's ALPHAGIFT in full caps, and they're going to throw you in a free bonus gift with your next purchase of any set of optics. Now, back to the show.